Hello and welcome to Mint. I'm Sunita Tandon. In today's edition of From the Newsroom, we're joined by Elizabeth Roche. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Today we'll discuss the significance of US Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner's visit to India and its impact on Indo-US relations. So Elizabeth, tell us, how important is this visit?
I would say this visit is fairly important because, the recession in the US notwithstanding, it is one of the most prominent economies of the world. And India, too, is one of the major developing countries. It's, despite IMF saying that India, giving a forecast of growth of 4.9% for 2012, it is still one of the, major growing economies. So this dialogue between, one of the most powerful economies and one of the fastest growing economies, emerging economies, is important. India has recently, unveiled a series of reform measures. Now, a dialogue on that, or an exchange of views on that, is of interest to the US, which is looking for, entry into the Indian market. There is a middle class, which is a huge middle class compared to compared to US standards. So the US businesses will be definitely looking for a slice of the Indian business here. The US has taken several steps to resuscitate its economy. India has been interested in trying to find out how those measures will impact on the US economy, and what is the impact of the economy, the US economy reviving on India's own economy. As Finance Minister P. Chidambaram put it today, India's economy is locked into the world economy, given the globalization. So this exchange of views today and Secretary Geithner's visit is fairly important in that sense.
And have the Indo-US relations plateaued now?
Well, I mean, there are lots of people who say that because there is no, to put it in Secretary Geithner's own words, just because there's no drama in the relationship doesn't mean that below the surface there's nothing happening. The engagement, the India-US engagement is over a broad plane. There is strategic cooperation, there's economic cooperation, there's cooperation in education, medical science and technology. So it's a vast canvas. So if something is not happening in one area, which is which may be not as high profile as another, doesn't mean that the relationship is plateauing. There's also another reason why it may seem that the relationship is plateauing or there's no fizz in it. That's basically because, the US is in election mode. So there is an inward, a process of looking inward. What is the economy going to be like? The US economy going to be like? Who's going to manage it better? Will the Democrats do it? Will the Republicans do it better? That is the intense debate which is happening within the US. So this look at India or this attention away from India, it may be, it's just because of domestic politics in that sense.
And, where do you see this going forward? What do you sort of anticipate will happen from this visit per se?
Well, as I said, this visit is important because, you have, a dialogue at, the level of the Indian Finance Minister and the Treasury Secretary. This is part of the high-level interaction which has been happening in between India and the US for a long time, and this is very important for the relationship to sustain itself. So it's only going to go forward. There are going to be issues of, let's say, tricky issues for both countries to sort out, whether it's strategic, whether it's economic, whether it's an issue of visas for IT professionals or students or whatever it is. But the thing is, I think the Indo-US relation is on a certain track, which is a positive track, and that's going to continue. Whether it is a Republican administration which comes in after the November elections, which takes the presidency in January, or whether President Obama continues, I think this is something which is going to continue, as in relations are on an upward track.
Certainly seems like this visit will help boost Indo-US relations. Thanks for your insights, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
On that note, we end today's show. Thank you and keep watching.